How you doing? I'm Matt with 731woodworks.com. Today we're going to be reviewing the Delta 2251 12-inch sliding compound miter saw. Say that 3 times fast. Let's go. So full disclosure, Delta sent me this saw back in September of 2020. I've used it about 4 months now, and I've built a bunch of projects with it. I've built farmhouse end tables and coffee tables. I've built mallets. I've built signs. I built all kinds of stuff using this saw. Now I'm gonna tell you what I like about the saw, and then I'll tell you what I really don't like about this saw, and that's the one thing I would change on it. There's also one surprise that I didn't realize I was gonna like. So one of the first features, if you go back and watch the unboxing of this saw, that I really was impressed with, holy, that slide gets me every time. That thing is so butter smooth, it is unreal. 4 months. For 4 months I've used this. I don't have dust collection on the back of it, so sawdust has gotten all up in those joints and stuff. It is still super butter smooth. I mean, you put a cape on this thing, call it super smooth. You know what I'm saying? It is that smooth. No sound at all when you're moving it back and forth. Now, one of the major questions I get is, does this saw have some deflection? Yeah, it does, but so did my DeWalt. If you pull it out all the way to the end, and you put lateral pressure on it at all, it's gonna deflect. In other words, it's gonna be off of square. So I'll bring it down and bring it all the way out, and I've got this. This is actually fast cap zero clearance tape. I'll drop a link in the description below to the video where I put this on there and tell you about it. You can see I'm pushing lateral, and I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure on there. So yeah, it moves. It moves quite a bit actually, but you have to actually be pushing left and right on it. The DeWalt was the exact same way. So if you're not just super careful when you're out here on the end and you don't push straight down, if you happen to push left or right, your cut's gonna be off. So be very cautious about that. While we're here, I do love the locking mechanism of this saw. You rotate it to lock and unlock, and then you can push the button and move it. So it's actually locked in place. That's another added step of security, just to go ahead and lock that down. But it's not really needed. See, it's locked in. These are positive stops. So when it's locked in there, it's not moving unless you push that button. So we have positive stops at 0, 15, 23.5, 32.5, or 31.5, 31.6 actually, 45, and then all the way out at 60. So it'll cut 60 degrees this way, 50 the other way. So I got a ton of questions about the overall footprint of this saw. And so if you measure from side to side, this thing is 25.75 of an inch, give or take. Fully collapsed. It doesn't matter if it's collapsed or extended, because this part back here doesn't take up any more room. So from the very back to the very front, looking at about 31 inches. And then of course, if you're looking at the height to the top of the handle, we're looking at about 26 and a little over a half, so almost 3/4. So it's a fairly small footprint for a 12-inch saw. That's one of the main things. If you're looking for this saw, you're looking at the space savings. And the fact that it doesn't have those extension arms like the DeWalt has, or a lot of those other sliding miter saws, with the exception of the Bosch saw, then you're going to save a lot of space on the back end, which is huge for you if you have a small shop. So you can get your miter stand or whatever you're using the miter saw on pushed back against the wall. One of the things I love most about this saw that I didn't realize I was going to love is that line, that light line right there. You see that? I did not realize how super convenient that is. All it is a shadow of the blade put on there. But if I have a mark on there, that gives me a good reference to where I need to be. Is it precise? That's pretty dang close, like really close. And so I really like that feature. So this upper fence area has little knobs on the back that you can take the tension off, and then they will slide to give you a little more support further out. I don't rarely use that. One thing to go along with these fences is if you're doing bevels, which you flip this front switch up here to unlock it, otherwise it won't move. Then you can flip the back switches and it starts to rotate. And now If you want a positive stop, you flip this back switch forward, and when you come to a positive stop, it'll actually catch, and you don't have to do anything else. So if we're going to be cutting there at 22.5 degrees, then it's automatically there. Push that down, it's not going to go anywhere. So we're out here at 33.9 degrees. Has a positive stop at 0, 22.5, 33.9, and then again at 45. The one thing you got to be cautious with on a lot of these compound miter saws, when you do these bevels, you've got to be cautious of that fence, because the blade will actually make contact with the fence. And so you got to be very cautious about that. You'll ruin your fence, and you'll also ruin that blade. So before you make any bevels, make sure you get that dude out of the way. I personally don't make any bevels. Rarely do I bevel anything. Most everything I can do is a miter cut. Out of the box, accuracy, I haven't touched this thing in 4 months as far as trying to adjust the square on it. Everything that I've cut has been perfectly square with 0 issues. The only thing I added to that was that fast cap zero clearance tape. One great feature about this Delta sliding miter saw is it actually has this stop built into it. This depth stop is built into it. You just flip that up if you don't want the depth stop. You can flip it down if you do want the depth stop, and then of course you can adjust it with this wing nut and screw up or down. Deep or shallow you need your depth stop to be. So that's a good feature to have. As far as power goes, I've cut Purple Heart, I've cut oak, I've cut walnut. So I've cut some pretty hard woods. 0 issues, it never bogs down. It does what it's supposed to do. It's a very powerful saw. It works flawlessly at cutting stuff. The only thing I've changed on it, I did change that stock blade to a Diablo 80 tooth. The Delta stock blade, while probably okay for framing, it's not good for the type of stuff I did. It's actually on the DeWalt miter saw. I don't use stock blades. I think they are very cheap, and they just put them on there so that they can get it out the door. It has a 2-position lock back here, position 1 and 2. Position 1 is for baseboard, position 2 is just for the slide lock. It's just this flip down piece of metal that hooks onto that screw there, keeps it from moving forward. You can also lock the blade down just by pushing that simple button in as it's down, and then it won't go anywhere, and you'll be able to carry it. It has a carry handle right here on the back. This switch is for the light on and off, and then this switch is a safety switch that you have to depress before this switch will power it. If this is not pressed, then this will not power. You have to do both. So the cords are secured with clips so it doesn't move anywhere. When you're sliding the saw, so none of these cords will move. They won't get in your way at all. When you're sliding the saw, everything extends out and in. You never have to worry about that cord being in your way. Changing the blade is very straightforward. It actually comes with the tool to do it with. Here on the back, you have this Allen wrench and star key. So you just loosen up that blade guard nut, and then that flips up out of your way, and you're able to get in there to the blade. It's really simple to change the blade. It comes with a work hold down that just drops into the back. I've not ever found those to be very useful, so I never used it. So the book says that I can take these fences off and increase the cut capacity. I've not been able to get them off. I tried and tried and tried. I couldn't get them off, not without some force. So there's actually a star screw down in here that's supposed to let you take this off. I couldn't get it off, and I didn't want to break it, so I didn't force the issue. I didn't really need it off. I just wanted to see if I could get it off. It's supposed to help give you a little more cut capacity. From what I found, most of the time it worked okay. As far as cut capacity, it's better than a non-sliding saw. You're always going to run into a limitation at some point, no matter what saw you get. And so I would have to just flip it over, get everything lined up. So everything on here slides really smooth. I like the positive stops. If you're pushing hard enough, you can blast right by them. If you're pushing slow, it'll catch. Just be careful with that. There is adjustment screws so that you can adjust this angle if you needed to. For whatever reason, if it was off, you could be able to adjust this plate to get it exactly accurate. That little needle, blue needle there, points to the whatever degrees you're at. I found it to be very accurate. It's right out of the box, it's been a very accurate saw. All these numbers are really clear. You can see these black numbers on this silver, pops really good. On the bevel back there, 0 to 45, on that white lettering on the blue, it looks good. It pops out of there, you can really see it even in low light. I like the cut line. I like how butter smooth that thing is. I'm telling you, man, it don't matter how long you've had this saw, whether you've had it for 4 months, 6 months, 1 month, 1 day. Every single time you slide it, you're impressed by it. I can't believe how smooth it stays. 4 months. I thought it would start grinding or catching a little bit. None of that at all. Now, let's get real and tell you what I do not like about this saw at all. Are you ready? This is my new RZ mask. So if you've seen any of my videos at all using this saw, some of you have commented about this. Do you see how much dust that is forward of the saw? The camera is now covered in dust. The workbench is now covered in dust. And the floor is covered in dust from one cut. And I know what you're saying. Well, he didn't have dust collection hooked up. Let's hook it up. I've got a dust collection hose connected to the DeWalt dust extractor. Try it again. We have suction. I feel the air moving. The amount of dust, it's in the air now. The amount of dust from two cuts, two cuts, that's it. The amount of dust this thing generates from cutting forward of the saw is crazy. The dust collection does zero to help that. And the reason it is, I think, I'm not no engineer, bring it out here where you can see it. So if you take a look at the angle of the dust collection here to the blade here, you see when the dust comes off the saw blade, it's hitting this, and then it throws it back out forward into the side of the saw. And so the angle that is hitting the dust collection port, which is basically almost at a 90-degree angle to the blade when you're cutting, because it's straight up and down, this is the dust collection up here, that's causing, unless you have a super powerful vac, I have the dust extractor, it's got a pretty good suction on it. It's not meant to do that. It's not gonna. The problem is that it's hitting this deflector, which is meant to help suck it up in there. It's just not going to do it because of the angle and the speed all this stuff's hitting. It's just coming forward to the saw and making a giant mess. In my opinion, that's the only drawback to this saw is the dust collection. If you don't care about that and you need that space saving, this saw is fantastic. If you don't need that space saving behind the saw and you're worried about that dust collection, I would recommend the DeWalt DW779. I've got a review on it that I did years ago. It's the same one that's on that shelf there. The dust on it seems to go straight behind the saw for the majority of it. And so you can actually hook up a dust collection and catch most of it. I have seen people build a shroud around this type saw with wings that come in here and kind of enclose everything. And they say that helps greatly with the dust collection. Do I recommend you buy this? Sure. If that's what saw you want, you need that space saving, you want that butter smooth slide. Woo, that thing is smooth. That light line is awesome. I wish that they had a soft start on these saws. That goes for the DeWalt, that goes for this saw. Start it, you can watch it, it'll jump. That's with me not trying to hold it down. That's with me trying to hold it down. The thing will jump up on you, kind of a wish list item that I wish that we would put on these things, a soft start, but the DeWalt has that same issue. I wish they would fix this dust collection. I'll drop a link in the description below this saw if you're interested, as well as the DeWalt saw. I would recommend either one of these saws. I've used that DeWalt for years. I've used this for 4 months. The only drawback is that dust collection. Other than that, the space-saving design, the smooth glide on it, perfectly square out of the box. It has a good cut capacity, has a good rip capacity. I really do appreciate Delta sending me this saw to use and try out. I've had it for 4 months. It's been a great saw. Made a lot of awesome projects with it. It is a fantastic saw. The only thing I wish they would do is add that 731 sticker from the factory. Maybe you should drop them a line at Delta Machinery on Instagram or Facebook and let them know that sticker should come factory. If you like this video, click that box right there. It takes you to the next set of videos. If you click that box, you know you're getting that big old virtual fist bump. Also, if you click that box, another one of my favorite videos. I thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already. We got more tool reviews coming. You're going to want to stick around and see those.